日本時間1月16日、ドジャースはカブスから FA となっていたカイル・タッカーを4年2億4000万ドル、約379億円で獲得しました。この大型契約により、落胆が大きいのは有力な移籍先の一つに挙げられていたメッツです。地元紙、ニューヨークポストのジョン・ヘイマン記者は X で、4年2億2000万ドル、約348億円が最終的な提示額だ。7500万ドル、約119億円の契約ボーナスも提示していたと伝え、メッツが最後まで争奪戦を続けていたことを報じました。また、熱狂的なメッツファンによる YouTube チャンネル Why I Am メッツファンでは、エドウィン・ディアスに続き、またもドジャースへ移籍となった現状について言及し、ファン目線で複雑な思いを語っています。さらに、ヤンキースファンとして知られるリッチ・アイゼン氏も同様に、今回のドジャース移籍についてリアクションを示し、率直な心境を語りました。これらの模様を日本語字幕付きでご紹介します。
So, sitting around last night, and I hear Kyle Tucker signs with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And my first thought was, I really can't say anything as a Yankee fan since birth. You know, Cooper texted me, couldn't believe it. He's pissed, as the rest of the free baseball world is, that the team that, is already top of the food chain with all their stars, half of them deferring their salary like they got a deferred comp policy there in Los Angeles, which allows them to go ahead and give Kyle Tucker 4 years, $240 million. By the way, he's deferring $30 million of it. And kind of want to say to him, listen, I can't complain because back in the day, Steinbrenner had more money than most, and the Yankees built quite a team. That's why I'm a Yankee fan, because they started winning when I was 6, 7 years old, an impressionable young man in Staten Island, New York. So can't really say very much, but that would make for any good TV or radio. So screw it. I think this stinks. I think it absolutely stinks. The only thing that actually gave me pleasure was Steve Cohen was tweeting out, hey, white smoke's going to come out of Queens, and got egg on his face until he signs Bo Bichette this morning.
No egg.
Yeah. Which is, good for you. That'll be great.
Why do you say it like that?
It's good for you. It's great.
Am I wrong on it? He's like,
no. Soto's got a running mate now, along with Lindor, and it's heck of a signing. He's pretty damn good.
I don't know, man. It's just your tone right now tells me you're not happy for me.
But at some point, Spot Track. I think it's not Spo Track, right? It's
we
Spot Track.
Conversation.
Spot Track.
It's like GIF and GIF.
Yeah.
The Dodgers have committed on their books
a lot
of guaranteed money to baseball players, including all the deferred stuff.
Oh yeah,
$2.1 billion.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Is that even legal?
It is.
It's a lot, bro.
It is. And so, what are you going to do? Now, the only thing that I could sit here and say is that even with all of that for the Dodgers last year, they needed everything to go their way.
Yeah.
In order to stave off the Toronto Blue Jays, who, by the way, are third on the list of most committed guaranteed dollars.
Yeah, they're spending.
You know who's two? Padres. Yeah. Padres are two. So it's not like the usual have-nots, unable to keep up with the haves. I don't know. But it's, once again, the Dodgers world. We're all paying rent. I don't even know. Where does Tucker hit? 4th, 5th, 6th? Is that where he goes? You know what I mean? That's how it's going to happen.
Was he even good? He wasn't even that good, though, the second half of last year.
They're paying him $60 million.
That is insane.
A year. Which makes the Soto deal look like a mere bag of shells. Looks like it's cheap.
Yeah, I would have signed that deal, too, if I was him.
I'm glad we
got
Who,
Kyle Tucker?
Yeah.
He also gets to opt out year 2 and year 3.
Yeah.
Also. So the Dodgers are like, we'll give you opt-outs. We'll pay you $60 million a year. We'll give you signing bonus of $64 million. You want to defer $30 million so you got a nice little 401k plan for yourself? Great. Why wouldn't you sign that sort of thing? To be with the back-to-back champion Dodgers with an outstanding manager? who's not, going to treat you anything but like a person and an adult.
And get to play with quite possibly the greatest player of all time.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I keep mentioning it. Last year, Ohtani on first. It was Ohtani on second. Betts on first. Freeman hits one in the gap, and they're all running. They have as a shot from behind home plate, watching the base paths move of Ohtani come around, Betts first to third, and Freeman go to second. And all sat there and think, like, is that $1 billion on the base paths?
Easily.
Well, I think it was.
And so, again, baseball fans, it'll be, up for you to vote with your remotes or your feet or whatever, or you're going to sit there and root against your Dodgers. I don't know. But it's honestly, it was the Yankees in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, and now it's the Dodgers of the now, where they have more money than they know what to do with. They're willing to spend it, and they're also able to spend more money than they know what to do with because a bunch of players are like, we'll take it 10 years from now. We don't care. So you're down underneath the luxury tax. You can use it to your advantage. And I just hope Bo Bichette's healthy for you. That's all. Because last year, he could rake, and then he was limping around the bases. I imagine he'll be just fine.
You kind of got to wonder, man, when he hit that 3-run homer off Ohtani, like, had they won, what his present would look like, He wouldn't be a Met.
He's awesome. I don't know. Maybe he would be. I don't know. The Blue Jays are still spending like crazy.
I think we need to do winners first. So I think we need to discuss the Dodgers first, and then we'll get into my thoughts on the Mets. Dodgers first.
Winners.
Congratulations to you. You sort of the whole past 48 hours, I would say, everybody on social media, and not even just on social media, bona fide reporters, John Heyman, the like, where, it's Mets, it's Blue Jays, it's the Mets are going to pay him $50 million a year, the Blue Jays are going to give him a long-term deal, they could go 8 to 10 years, and you just knew that lurking in the background, the Dodgers still existed. You just knew it somewhere in your brain. The Dodgers did what they had to do. It's so absurd, though, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I didn't want Kyle Tucker, because I sat here on the very first day of the offseason in September, and I said that the top target for me, for the Mets, was Kyle Tucker. So I'm not going to take that route. I wish the Mets would have signed him. It is what it is. But it's so absurd to me that the Dodgers made this happen, and as we know, in the lineup, in our opinion, I know there's Dodgers fans in our comments who think otherwise, they don't really need it. Kyle Tucker is a terrific player, and honest to God, may be the 4th or 5th best hitter on his own team. He now joins a lineup with Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. I'm forgetting somebody. You can just go on and on and on. Like, they just paid him $60 million a year or whatever it is, 57. He might be 5th, 6th in jersey sales on the team. He's not the star of that team. He's not even 1B or 1C. He's like 1G.
100%. Honestly, you are right on the mark when you say 5th or 6th in jersey sales. But it's funny because you did hear about one rumor swirling around. I'm referring to all of it as rumors now because honestly, a few of these reporters are now outside of my circle of trust for a brief period of time before I do go back and trust them because I have no other sources. But one thing that you heard swirling around, I want to say this was from John Heyman actually, was that Kyle Tucker was the kind of guy who didn't necessarily like to be in the spotlight, wasn't really a guy who wanted to be in a big market team, but he was obviously going to a big market team. His teammates thought that he wouldn't end up in New York for that reason. So you almost wonder if because of the makeup of the Dodgers roster, if that really is the way he felt, certainly there you are going to be buried in some way. You're going to be surrounded by stars. There's going to be less pressure on you. And then you have the Dodgers. You can go there. You can play with 4, 5, 6 stars. You can have less pressure on you. Oh, and you'll probably win the World Series with them this year for the 3rd year in a row.
Yeah.
I can't say that I don't see why it's tantalizing. And I'm not going to ever be the person that sits here and says that the Dodgers didn't play by the rules because they did. But it is a little frustrating. Honestly, it's a little frustrating. And I'm not... No Dodgers fans come at me. I'm not saying, I am always happy when any team wins a World Series. I think the Dodgers, earned everything that they got. But it does feel like in some way it's like getting out of hand. And I'm not even like a salary cap person. I just don't know what to do.
No, I think that this is gonna bring us into a broader discussion, but social media is ablaze tonight with people discussing the salary cap. I think baseball needs it. I think not only have the Dodgers been a big part of that, Steve Cohen's been a big part of that. The things that the Yankees and Hal Steinbrenner have done to some extent have been a big part of that. There's definitely blame to go around, but when there's no rules, essentially, there are rules, but when there's no rules, the teams with the money are going to do what they want. And really tonight, I sit here and I think about how bad this is for the sport. And Dodgers fans, don't freak out. I know what the reaction to that is going to be. Again, I'm saying that from an unbiased sense. It's bad for the sport that Steve Cohen paid Juan Soto $765 million. That's bad for the sport too. Where the contracts are in terms of just this uncharted, Kyle Tucker is a very good player. But that's what he is. He's a very good player. Kyle Tucker, to me, unless he's 28, so maybe in the next 4 years, his prime goes along and he becomes a generational superstar. But I wouldn't call Kyle Tucker a generational superstar right now, yet he's going to get paid $60 million to play baseball this year. That is more than Juan Soto. That is more than Aaron Judge, guys that I would possibly categorize as generational superstars. My point is, we're sitting here whining, and when we have, in terms of the Mets, the richest owner in baseball, or one of them, can you imagine? There are 20 teams out there tonight and 20 fan bases sitting there knowing that they never even had a prayer in this race. And it's always been like that to some extent. The big market teams have had the money, the richest owners have had the money. But can you, and I ask everyone to put themselves in this position, genuinely imagine being a fan, a diehard lifelong fan of the Cincinnati Reds or the Miami Marlins and seeing this deal. Kyle Tucker is making about as much as the entire Miami Marlins roster next season. How are you supposed to compete? I guess where I'm going is, there's all the rumors about a salary cap and are they going to play in 2027? Is there going to be a lockout? I feel as though they're chugging straight towards it, to be honest with you. And I know just from a baseball fan's perspective, I don't want to see a summer go by without baseball. I don't think anybody who loves the sport does.
You took the words right out of my mouth because I was going to say, what about the Miami Marlins? Think about the Marlins tonight.
The Marlins.
Just think about them. I feel so sad for them, even though they ended the Mets season last year. No, honestly, though, I do see where you're coming from, and I'm seeing tweets that say things like, are we ready to talk about how much of a steal the Yankees got by giving Aaron Judge 9 years and $360 million?
That was a few years ago.
This was not decades ago. So understand that, the way at which this is escalating is like inflation beyond belief. And again, it is a very touchy subject because you know who it's a great day for today? Kyle Tucker.
Right.
What a phenomenal, astonishing accomplishment to have an average annual value that high. And no one is necessarily sitting here saying that the players don't deserve to be paid, because of course they do. And you want to see those kinds of deals for these players who work hard for their entire lives to get to this moment. At the same time, baseball is not as popular of a sport as some of these other sports, right? The NFL, the NBA. But it could be more popular. And in some ways, it was actually trending in that direction, thanks to guys like Shohei Ohtani and some stars who were bringing in some younger viewers and whatnot. That's the kind of thing I worry about, because to your point, it's like, who wants to root for a team like the Reds forever, feeling like you never actually have a chance to win anything significant? It sucks when you feel like so much of this comes down to the money. Here's the other thing, and I'm just curious your thoughts on this. Why do you think that the Dodgers did this? Not necessarily asking why do you think they were in the race, because I think we all, of course, understand that, but to go to such great lengths, to pay such a great amount of money. Do you think it is about making the Dodgers better, or just ensuring that everybody else is worse? Like, what do you think was the intention behind this signing?
No, I mean, I think that the Dodgers, I know what our Dodgers fans are going to say, and it is true. The Dodgers lineup was not perfect last year. For all the stars that I did list off, their bats went cold last year at numerous times in the postseason as well. There were stretches there, in the NLCS, in the World Series, well, not so much in the World Series, but in the NLCS, in the NLDS, where you worried about their hitting. Maybe they wanted to shore that up and ensure that their lineup was absolutely as deep as possible. I mean, I don't think the Dodgers are doing it out of spite to the rest of the league, but I do think what the rest of the league has to grapple with is A, the money and the salary cap discussion, and B, the fact that when these players are given a choice in free agency, who wouldn't pick the Dodgers? And I'm comfortable in saying that. I said that a couple of weeks ago. If this decision was staring you in the face, put yourself in Kyle Tucker's shoes or in Edwin Diaz's shoes, but specifically Kyle Tucker. The New York Mets are going to give me a short-term deal with really high average annual value, or the Los Angeles Dodgers are going to give me the same thing and a little bit more. Where do I have the best chance to win a World Series? Every baseball player wants to win a World Series. That's what they grow up dreaming of. If you were Kyle Tucker, I can be honest enough to say that I'm not so sure you wouldn't have made the exact same choice. But in that same breath, who I'm most upset for Mets fans, so let's be honest. But I'm also upset for Blue Jays fans tonight because the Blue Jays thought they were right there. Nothing's really come out about, or that I've seen, about what the Blue Jays deal was going to be, how many years, how much money, whatever. But they were right in the race. Will the Blue Jays be fine without Kyle Tucker and still probably win the AL East? Yes, probably. But the Blue Jays really did put on a full court press. They're trying to, I guess, build up that team, build off of the momentum of appearing in the World Series last year. And it seems like, to some degree, guys are still not considering Toronto as a serious destination. I saw some people on social media, try to say that, oh, Tucker is, he's known to want a smaller market situation. He doesn't want all the pressure and all the heat, so maybe he'll go to Toronto. First of all, I understand what you're saying in terms of New York. Yes, correct. He would have less scrutiny than if he played for the Mets or the Yankees. But anybody saying that, that's also a clear sign to me that you don't know what you're talking about because Toronto is a huge city, if you've ever been there, the size of New York City. And also, we saw in the World Series last year, like, you have all of Canada behind you. I get it's a little bit different, but I wouldn't exactly call Toronto a small market situation.
Fair enough. And I think out of the options he had, Toronto, New York, Dodgers, those are all teams that have large fan bases. Those are, I wouldn't,
Yeah.
yeah, I know what you mean. I guess I wouldn't say that any of them are particularly small market teams. Now, do I think for whatever reason that playing in Toronto would be a little bit less stressful than playing in New York? I do. I think that's probably because in New York the fans are more passionate and frankly a little meaner. So I think that's part of it. I really do think that in New York the lights are bright. I think there is a lot of pressure, and I think that any athlete who comes into the New York market and plays does tend to feel that way. I think even compared to LA, I honestly think that I would imagine fans there are probably a little bit nicer, a little bit calmer. I feel like our comment section actually kind of proves that on a weekly basis. But in any case, listen, I totally think that you're right. I think that the Dodgers did this because they wanted to improve their lineup. That's ultimately what it came down to. But I don't know, man. The Dodgers just continue to get better and better and better. So listen, congratulations to the Dodgers tonight, and I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart, man. They went out there, they got him. And to your point, even if the Mets had the exact same offer that the Dodgers did, I think he still would have chose to go to Los Angeles. And that's the part that hurts. I
Yeah.
don't think, I think you're foolish if you think that this is only about the money. Of course, players care about the money, and that's why you see that there are so many teams that don't even put an offer in, that aren't even competing because they know they can. But beyond the money, there are other things that baseball players care about, and winning is really high on the list for many of them. Don't fool yourselves about that. Final thoughts, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, I agree with you. You can be mad at whoever you want, but I guess don't be mad at Kyle Tucker because the Dodgers are building an all-star team in essence, and if you're a player in his prime, really who wouldn't want to be a part of that?